in. It's a little bit dark in here, isn't it? Give me 1 second.
Me too.
Oh, we've got a torch. Brilliant. Well, I wonder if any of you can guess what we might be talking about this morning.
I think it's got something to do with light.
I think you might be right. So over the last couple of weeks, we have been looking at what Jesus says, who Jesus says he is. And so far, we've learnt that Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And last week, he said, I am the good shepherd, which is brilliant because it just reminded us that he always takes care of us. And today, can you guess it? He says, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. How brilliant is that? You see, what happens when it's dark and we can't see anything and we turn the lights on? We can suddenly
see.
That's right, we can see, which is a good thing, isn't it? And that's what Jesus wants to say to us. He wants to say, when you walk alongside me, I will be your light. I will be your guide. And sometimes there are dark times and dark things. But when we come to Jesus, although that darkness is gone, because Jesus said he is the light of the world. So isn't that wonderful that we never have to walk in darkness, but instead can have the light of Jesus with us? So in 1 second, Penda is going to share another story from the Bible which demonstrates this. And we are then going to enjoy a lovely craft from Gill again. So we hope you will have a great week. We will see you next week. God bless. And remember what Jesus said, I am the light of the world.
Let your light shine, oh, let your light shine,
oh. Let your light shine and let Jesus shine in.
Shine the world.
Super, bye!
Bye-bye. Woo!
This week we're talking about light. Light helps us to see clearly where we are going so we can go in the right direction and not get lost. Our story today is about a man in the Bible who was always in the dark. He couldn't see the sun or the sky. He couldn't see any light at all. Let's listen to the story about how Jesus gave light to this blind man. Spare some money. Give some money to a poor blind beggar, Bartimaeus cried. He had bad eyes and he couldn't see. Everything was dark. All day long he sat by the dusty, dirty road. All day, every day. He couldn't see to work, so he had to ask for money. Then one day, Jesus came to the town where Bartimaeus lived. Bartimaeus knew that Jesus made people well. Perhaps Jesus would make him see. There were voices, loud, excited voices. Bartimaeus could hear people coming. Slap, slap, patter, patter. Bartimaeus could hear their feet. Help me, Jesus! Help me, Jesus! He shouted at the top of his voice. Jesus heard and he stopped. Tell him to come here, Jesus said. Jesus wants to see you, they told blind Bartimaeus. At once he threw off the coat that kept him warm. He jumped up and ran to Jesus. He couldn't see, but people helped him find his way. What do you want me to do? Jesus asked him. I want to see. Please make me see. trusted me to make you better," Jesus said. "So you shall see." Bartimaeus opened his eyes wide. It wasn't dark anymore. It was light. "I can see! I can see!" he shouted in delight. "I'm coming with you, Jesus." Jesus said, "I am the light of the world. It is never dark where I am. Come with me and walk in the light. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness."
So today we are making little lanterns because Jesus is the light of the world, and hopefully they will look something like this.
We're going to hang it on our door.
Okay. So for our craft today, we have got this template which Lucy has very cleverly and very kindly managed to make up on the computer, and it should be a link on the details at the bottom of the video. So you can print that off, which has got all the measurements and all the details, and you can print that onto any colour card you like. I just made a little mistake on there, so ignore the square in the middle. You'll see how that fits in a minute. Okay, if you don't want to do that, I'll go through the measurements with you, okay? Or if you haven't got a printer, it's not a problem, you can still make your own. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it's cut out. So each of these, you basically got 5 squares, each 6 centimetres by 6 centimetres around the outside. These ones have got cutouts which are 4 centimetres by 4 centimetres. And then this one at the bottom, you need to make sure it's got 3 tabs, and this has a tab at the end for holding your lantern together. Also, along the top here, if you find the halfway mark at 3 centimetres, and again make sure it's about 6 centimetres high, draw a line down the middle and that gives you your triangle. So you need 4 of those as well. Okay, all connected and cut out. It should look like this. Okay, there's that one. This one I've just cut out. Okay. So it's a little bit fiddly. I used a craft knife, but you could probably do it with scissors if you needed to maybe get some help from a grown-up. Okay. Now on the template, you'll see a lot of these lines have got a dotted line on, and that means you fold at that point. Okay, so in a minute we'll do lots of folding, but first of all we need to stick our tissue paper on. Now on this one I've done 2 sheets of yellow and 2 sheets of orange, but again you can use whatever colours you've got, doesn't matter. Okay, so what we're going to do is just cut out a little, make a square. It's probably good actually, what I did before was keep one of the squares that I'd cut out and then drew round it, and then just cut that just a little bit bigger than the square, and then you can, so you end up, it doesn't matter if it's not exactly square, if it's a little bit, it's going to be on the inside so you won't see it anyway. So make sure when you stick that on, you stick it on any side that's got the pencil marks on it, and then you're not going to see it. Okay, so a little bit of glue around the edge of one of the cutout squares, and then you can stick that tissue paper straight on. Okay, so when we finish that, it will look like this. The next thing to do is do your folding. So anywhere where you've drawn a line, or anywhere on the template where there's a dotted line, you're just going to fold it. Now what you can do is just use some scissors just to score it. I use a ruler as well just to keep it nice and straight. So just score along those lines. Okay, once you've folded it, you should have something that looks like that. Now you can start sticking it together. So we're just using a glue stick, just gluing all those tabs and folding the bottom into your box shape. Okay. If you're struggling to stick it together, you can fold the triangles outwards and then you can get your hand inside and squeeze all those seams together. It's a little bit easier. The other thing to do is just make sure that your pencil marks are still on the inside, so it looks nice and neat on the outside. Okay, there. Okay. Right, now these are your tea lights. So obviously these are flameless. Do not put a live flame in this lantern. The little plastic ones I've just got off Amazon, but if you've got anything like that at home, it's really useful. If not, they look great. They probably look really nice without a light in anyway, that's fine. So the next thing to do is put your tea light in. The batteries on these last for ages, so you can just leave it in and leave it lit, but you can also get in and change it if you need to, or turn it off. Right. You're a little bit stiff to turn on sometimes. Okay, so actually before we do that bit, we need to put some holes in our triangles. Okay, so let's find our trusty bit of blue tack, and this time I've got a stick. Where's my stick gone? Here it is. Okay, so I'm using a skewer, or you can use a cocktail stick or a really sharp pencil, and we're just going to put a hole right in the top of each of the triangles, but just make sure it doesn't rip. Okay, so be very careful, just make sure it's far enough down that it's not going to rip. Two of the opposite sides just need a small hole, and the other two opposite sides need a slightly larger hole because you're going to thread your ribbon through those. Okay, so let's do those quickly. Okay, so I've got two small holes on those and two very slightly larger. If it's still too small to thread a ribbon through, just use a pen or a pencil just to make that a little bit bigger. Okay. Now, this is when you put your light in. Okay. Then you're going to get a piece of ribbon or string. Okay. Our skewer's broken, so Lucy's just going to go and get another one. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to start by threading my ribbon through. Okay, so the way I'm going to do this is put these are going to kind of curve, and we're going to thread it through one of the holes from the underneath. Okay, so it is a bit tricky. You do have to press quite hard. Okay, so right. I'm going to thread a ribbon through one. It's a little bit fiddly. And then I'm going to put that underneath the opposite flap and thread the ribbon through that side as well. These are a bit fiddly, but I just think they're so cute, and you can use them in, you can make them all different colours. You can use them as decorations at Christmas, but or any time of year really. You can make a springtime ones, or all sorts. You could make them with green and lovely colours, or make them with autumn colours to decorate your house. I think they're just so cute, but obviously they're a really good reminder that Jesus is the light of the world. Okay, so threaded that through. Now we're going to kind of, we're not putting the flaps flat, they're just kind of going to bend in on themselves a little bit. So if you pull the ribbon quite tight at the base, so the two pieces are kind of stuck in place, and then you're going to tie a knot near the top. Okay, like that. That's going to go in there. Okay, you end up with them. Right, now once you've done that, I'm going to just bring those other two pieces together in the middle here. Okay, now this is where you need a split pin or a little brad, something like that. Okay, I've got these cute little star ones, but it really doesn't matter what design they are. And these you're going to put through the other two holes. It's just really important that you make sure the ribbon's out of the way. Okay. And once you put them through, you can reach underneath and just open that split pin so it's not going to go anywhere. And you should be able to remove that if you need to get to the light inside. You can either, you should be able to just open it like that actually, where the string is, and get the light out. And put a fresh one in, turn it off, turn it on. Okay, so that back under there. And there you have it. There's your little lantern. Don't forget at the bottom you've got the template to make this, and don't forget to put your any photos you can take of your make on our Facebook. Thank you. See you next week.